Today, we're doing a deep dive into the strategy of a really interesting hotel chain called Levwell. On the surface, they seem to have it all figured out. Growing revenue, happy customers, a great reputation. But, as we're about to see, there's one single, pretty alarming number that could threaten their entire success story. So let's get into it and see how they navigate the cutthroat hospitality market of Estland.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get the lay of the land, what the hotel industry in Estland actually looks like. Then, we'll meet Levwell and figure out what makes them tick. After that, we'll step inside one of their hotels to see how they operate, before checking out the hard numbers on their performance. And finally, we'll look at the big picture, the risks and rewards they're facing down the road.
All right, first things first, let's set the stage. You know, no company exists in a bubble, right? To really get what Levwell's doing, we have to understand the world they're operating in. And in this case, that's the competitive battlefield of Estland's hotel industry.
To really get this market, you have to start with one simple question. Why are you here? Are you on a business trip or are you on vacation? Because your answer to that question completely changes what you want from a hotel, and it basically splits the entire industry in two. And here is that split, right here. On one side, you've got your business travelers. For them, a hotel is like a temporary office with a bed. They need convenience, efficiency, and you better believe they need fast Wi-Fi. But on the other side, you have leisure guests. They're not buying a room, they're buying an experience, an escape. It's all about the vibe, the facilities, and the memories they're going to make.
And this is how the industry tries to make sense of quality. The National Tourist Board oversees this star rating system, and it creates a really clear ladder of what you can expect. A 1-star gets you a basic room. By 3-star, you're getting a private bathroom and a restaurant. And it just keeps building from there, with each star adding another layer of services, which of course means a higher price tag.
Now, if you look at the market itself, you can see just how competitive it is. It is almost a perfect 50-50 split between independent, one-of-a-kind hotels and those big, predictable chains. This creates some serious pressure for literally everyone trying to win over guests.
Okay, so in a market that's this crowded, this divided, how in the world does a company manage to stand out? Well, that brings us right to our focus, Levwell, because they have taken a really different and fascinating approach to this whole game. This right here, this is Levwell's North Star. This is their guiding principle. Notice it doesn't say be the biggest or be the cheapest. Nope, it's all about the guest experience. And that single sentence tells you almost everything you need to know about their strategy.
So here's what makes Levwell different. They are a niche player, and that is by design. They've got 35 4-star hotels, sure, but they've completely rejected that cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all model. Instead, every single property is unique, it's owner-managed, and it's set in these beautiful rural or coastal areas. They are absolutely laser-focused on that leisure traveler we were just talking about. Look, having a great mission statement is one thing, but actually delivering on that promise day in and day out, that's a whole different challenge. So how do they do it? How do they turn that promise of an exceptional experience into a reality? Let's pop the hood and look at their operational playbook. To nail that experience, they have mapped out every single step of the guest's journey. It all starts with their central website for booking, and a single information system connects everything right through to your final checkout. The goal is to make the entire process feel completely seamless and totally stress-free.
So, you might be wondering, how do you keep things consistent when every hotel is intentionally unique? Well, the answer is all about process. Levwell relies, and I mean heavily, on these super detailed standard operating procedures, or SOPs, plus a ton of regular training. This is their way of making sure every guest gets that same warm welcome and every room is absolutely perfect, no matter which Levwell you're staying at.
And now for the big one, the question that really matters. Is this whole unique experience first strategy actually working? Is it making money? Well, let's turn to the data, because their performance scorecard tells a pretty fascinating story.
First up, the top line, revenue. And what we see here is exactly what you'd want to see. It's a solid, steady, positive trend. Over 5 years, they've grown from $182 million to almost $230 million. That's a really strong foundation. Okay, what about occupancy? You know, how full are the hotels? Well, those numbers are also really strong. They're consistently hovering there in the high 70s, which is well above the 70% mark that's considered good in Iceland's hotel industry. So yeah, people are definitely showing up. And all of that great performance,
It translates directly into healthy growth for what's called RevPAR, or revenue per available room. This is one of the most important numbers in the entire industry because it combines both occupancy and room price. So, on the surface, everything looks fantastic.
But here's the twist, and honestly, it's a big one. Remember how one of their core values is caring for our staff? Well, this number is alarming. Employee turnover is stuck at a massive 39%. This isn't just a statistic. This is a huge crack in their foundation, and it flies directly in the face of what they say they stand for.
So that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. We have to put all of this together. The great revenue, the happy guests, but also this worrying staff issue, to really understand the complicated road ahead for Levwell and the major challenges they're facing.
And what's interesting is their own internal risk assessment basically confirms it. You've got the usual suspects, intense competition, getting the pricing just right, but look at what's right there in the middle, reputation and people. That staff turnover issue isn't just a number, it's their biggest vulnerability. Because without the right people delivering that signature experience, their entire strategy just falls apart.
So it really all boils down to this one central question. Can their unique, high-touch, boutique charm hold up against the sheer scale, the massive resources, and the pricing power of the big hotel chains? It is a classic David versus Goliath story in business strategy. And for Levwell, pretty much everything is on the line. So what do you think?